Investors and traders, welcome to the channel. Today is 7th of April 2025. Hope everyone is having a great day. So we'll take a look at the key markets and do a quick recap of the activity in the US stock indices. So let's start by taking a look at the US dollar. So the US dollar was strong today. It was up about 0.5%, and this is the second consecutive day since last Friday. The dollar has actually gained strength. Of course, with the volatility that we see in the marketplace, the moves are pretty exaggerated, and this was our market symmetry, and it has already gone above that. So that is quite interesting, which basically indicates that the chances are the dollar is actually likely to get even stronger. It's getting really close to the 20-day moving average, getting above that. I think 104.50, which is going to be 38.2% retracement of this entire move is in play, and getting above that, the dollar is then quite likely getting even stronger, which is really interesting because this. Let's take a look at this on the weekly chart. This is something which we discussed in the weekend video. So it is actually dollar still remains range bound, although it is a pretty large range. So we saw a lot of resistance come in, and this was our target, and then we had another target where it was going to go and come in this region, and it hit this middle level exactly, and it filled in this gap. It's only if it gets below the 99.98 level that we will have this big black ABCD in play. But right now the chances are that it'll try to get perhaps towards the middle of the range actually. So 104.50, maybe even getting stronger than that is the most likely scenario. Now let's take a look at what happened with the yields. You can see that this is the 2-year note today, and the yields had a really big spike. They were up 3.95%. So that's quite interesting because the dollar got stronger, and the yields actually also rose. And this is the gain of a relation that we had seen previously, especially in the 2024. The dollar is being bought and to buy some of the assets such as equity assets. You need the dollars, and then the other impact was as the equities were selling off, the money was moving into bonds, fixed income essentially. So if the money is moving out of it, it has to go somewhere. This is why we also saw a bounce in the equity markets, one of the reasons perhaps. But of course, they were hitting our technical support levels, which we discussed over the weekend video, which I did yesterday. So really interesting, pretty big move in the yields. It's a double bottom formation right here. And then if we take a look at TNX, which is 10-year, there we go. And it's gone above this bearish symmetry, so that is quite interesting. I think it's got some way to go higher. And then if we take a look at this on the 10-year treasury note futures, this is exactly what we were talking about in the weekend video, that the market was hitting this 78.6% retracement, and then this is the symmetric concept. It could pull back right towards the bottom of this candle of 3rd of April last Thursday. It just did that in one day, so that is pretty amazing. There's a lot of volatility. Overnight, when the futures opened, I was watching the market, and I saw the equity indices, the equity futures actually open lower with a gap, and continue to move lower in the early part of the open. But then I also realized, and I also saw that we were putting in a double top formation right at the 78.6% retracement in the bonds, and the bonds actually then refused to go higher. They actually pulled back, and then they went in a trading range, and then when the US session started, they pulled back much lower. So that was a telling tale that the money is if there was a big panic or scare in the market, then this 10-year treasury note would have been somewhere around here, and we did not see that. So that was an early indication. So the market is perhaps returning to in an orderly fashion. There was still selling, but in an orderly fashion, and there was some buying, a lot of volatility back and forth. And if we go back and take a look at the VIX index, there we go. So obviously the VIX had spiked on Monday, but then it sold off a lot. It was still up by 3.69%, but you can clearly see that this is when the 5th of August happened, and there was a really big spike. I believe back then the statistic was that the VIX had spiked by about over 60%. You know, and maybe it was the second or the third time it had done that. So there was real panic in the market. At this time, it went up quite a bit, but then it sold off as well. So things were, in the terms of price action, becoming quite orderly. So that was quite interesting. Now, finally, the long bond futures. Let's take a quick look at that, and you can see it went right into these numbers, and then a big pullback down about three handles, which is a lot for a market of this size. Down minus 2.67%. Okay, so now let's take a very quick look at the gold. Because one of the things that I had actually mentioned, gold gold has been down as much as 7.23%, 7.25% roughly, since putting in a top. And one of the things that we were discussing, just reiterating this point, is that gold is in this zone, which is, there are layers of resistance right here, and then we could see a pullback in gold actually from these levels. And on the daily chart for 3 consecutive days, gold has also pulled back. It hasn't pulled back as much as this previous move. Let's take a look. But it is getting closer to this, so maybe it's able to do this symmetry as well. Okay, now we'll just move to the equity markets really quickly. Let's go here on the S&P 500. I want to show you something right here. So the first one thing that I would like to show to you is, this is the weekly chart, and of course the week is not over yet. So this blue line that you see, this one right here, this is the long-term trend line, and this one is still intact. And what the market did today was it came right into this level, which we had also identified in this gray zone as the potential support, and also the trend line. It touched that and it closed higher for the day. So I'll just show that on the daily charts. This is something to keep in mind, and of course it went into that region of about 4800, maybe a little bit lower, which we had identified as a potentially pretty good support. Now there is another pocket of pretty strong support level, which comes around 4500, so 4630, 4500. But in my opinion about this 4500, it is a pretty good and important support. Now there is a possibility, I don't think the market actually bottomed on Friday. If there is some sort of pressure, selling pressure that comes into the market, 4500, or that might actually be where we put in a pretty good bottom. And this, what we are seeing, might still be part of the correction. We might see some sort of rallies, and then another move lower into this level. That possibility is still there, but the price action will tell us. Right now, taking one thing at a time, you can see that after 3 days of selling, this is the first day, we have seen actually the market only down by about 11 points, whereas the market has been down many points, got into this support region. And if we take a look at the NDX actually closed positive by 32 points, roughly 33 points for the day. And here I just want to point out is that we were watching this ABCD formation, and we have this key region as potential pretty good support, and this is where the market came right into it. Actually, intraday basis it was down, but then it closed right into this box, so this support also held. So this is pretty interesting. And if we take a quick look on the futures market, you can see that the futures have actually opened up and they are a little bit higher, which is a really interesting sign. So you can see that it's also done this ABC right at the 61.8% retracement. And if we take a look at this on the ES also went right into these support levels, 61.8%, around the 4900, a little bit lower, right into this support region between the 1.272, where the CD leg is in between, was almost 1.618 times. So the CD leg is 1.618 times the AB leg, and it went into the support zone as well, and we have seen this held. Now there's a chance that that we could actually consolidate right here, but we could actually come back and try to test the bottom end of this, and if the correction is still going on, because this is an ABCD structure, quite like the structure that we had here in 5th of January, excuse me, 5th of October, and here we had this CD leg, which was also the 1.618. So we'll see if it is some sort of a good bottom. Then we are likely to see a pretty strong move to the upside. Otherwise, we could see some consolidation take place here. The bottom end of the range also getting tested, and then the possibility is that we might see a move like this, something like this, maybe even higher as well, and then we might then get a leg lower like this as well. So it could take formation like this, or it could be an ABCD. So this, what I'm trying to say is, it could be still a corrective pattern formation. So ABCD, and then we could have another ABCD, and then we could have basically a move lower like this, which could also take an ABCD formation like this. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that we might have seen some sort of a pretty important low, but it might get retested a little bit towards the bottom, putting in some sort of a double bottom formation. So maybe getting very close to this level, getting a little bit lower to this to the low of 7th of April, and then the market actually begins to get stronger, and then we'll assess the price action moving forward. So several possibilities. We'll see which one pan out quite soon actually. So let's actually take a look at very quickly a retracement of 38.2%. Let's see where that comes in. So market had already done that today. So let's take a look at this entire move. So it's not just too far. 5,333. I think the market might actually test these levels, and it will be the first test which will tell us whether the market finds resistance from here, moves lower, or if it's just strong enough that it's in fact able to take this out quite quickly. So we'll wait and see. Now last but not least, we'll have a very quick look at the Russell 2000 to see how it performed, and you can see that it is also closing on closing basis above this key level. A lot of volatility intraday. And Dow Jones Industrial, well, I'm going to show you something on the cash index, which looks very interesting. So here also closed slightly positive for the day at 13 points, which is nothing for Dow Jones, but still positive. And here we have this situation where the CD leg was here we go. The CD leg was 1.272 times, there we go, of the AB leg. So we'll see if the correction is still going on. So those scenarios that we took a look at on the S&P 500 chart, and then yeah, this is what I wanted to show you on the Dow Jones Cash Index. Look at this candle formation, and look at this. The high comes in around 39,200, and the low comes around 36,500 or 600. So just imagine, there are several thousand points in this trading range. This is the amount of volatility that we are seeing in the market. So please be vigilant. Use stops if you are involved in the markets on shorter term basis, for example. Even in your long-term investments, start using trading stops, because the volatility is just really crazy volatility. This reminds me of what we saw during the COVID days, but there was a very strong response that came pretty quickly, from the Federal Reserve with the announcements of the amount of stimulus they will come up with. We haven't seen any sort of stimulus coming, even an indication of interest rate cuts yet from the Fed. But if the markets become even more volatile, then an emergency rate cut could come in, but that could also spook the market. So I don't think the Fed would actually do that. And it's really the some of the key factors regarding the tariff news. And if the news begin to get a little bit better, that there are negotiations going on, European Union is negotiating, and other countries, then perhaps that would be some sort of a catalyst. But the price action will tell us. And today it has actually spoken, because some of these indices have started to close in the positive by a small amount, but still a positive close. So basically, ending a huge amount of selling that episode, at least for some of the indices, such as S&P 500. Excuse me, so the NASDAQ actually closed. So thank you very much for watching the video. Really quick video for today, just to cover the price action for today. If you like our videos, you learned something, please do subscribe to the channel. If you do, then hit the bell icon button. That way you will know when the new videos are posted and you will not miss anything. Thank you very much again. Good luck, good trading, and speak to you guys soon.